I'm like, this is what I like, bitch. A car guy is pretty fucking calm and stupid. And you get these motherfuckers who just get lost in the sauce of shit they've never fucking done.
You said that you have had guys watching you for 2 or 3 years. You said every day maybe you get 10 new clients that have been watching you for 2 or 3 years. I got to tell you, as a coach, that's incredibly motivating. That you stick with it that long. Somebody maybe has been looking at your free stuff, the stuff you put on YouTube, and then eventually after 2 or 3 years they take your coaching. Can you talk about that for a second?
Yeah, I'm the motherfucker who wears them down. I mean, I'm just showing them what works. I'm showing them what works over and over, and I'm solving their main issue by showing them. Their main issue is that they start and stop, start and stop, start and fucking stop. I don't start, I don't stop. I just start and go. So I mean, the thing is I'm showing right in front of their face that I have what they don't. The fact that I will go every fucking day. I won't miss on my YouTube posts. I won't miss on my Instagram posts. I never miss my 2:45 a.m. wake up post, my workout at 4 a.m. I just don't miss because guess what? That's the man I needed my whole life. The man who doesn't fucking miss.
That's incredible, man. Can we talk about growing all the way back to you grew up in San Diego? You were a professional. Were you a skateboarder, or snowboarder?
I was a pro snowboarder. I grew up in Oceanside.
Yeah.
You said you've been to Coronado. You were stationed at Coronado.
Yeah.
So San Diego's a predominantly beach skater surfer town.
Yeah.
And we grew up in Oceanside, surfing, skating, and snowboarding. And then first I was sponsored at surfing, and I skated my whole life. And then once we got old enough, we started traveling up to the mountains, driving up there. And I said, fuck it. I went snowboarding one time, and I did like the first few times I did like a 540 off like a hip. And I said, fuck it, I'm going pro at this. And that just committed everything to it. And that's what motherfuckers don't get. Like anything you choose to put your whole heart into, there will be no competition because everybody's so fucking half-assed. If you really put your heart into it, you don't have a fucking plan B. It's yours.
Yeah, that's incredible, man. You growing up in San Diego, you end up doing that, and then can you transition? You start selling weed. And it's really that part of so I have a lot of friends. I grew up during the crack epidemic in East Dallas. Dallas was hit by a major crime wave back in the early 90s. I'm like 44 years old. And a lot of my friends from high school went to prison. They got out and they told me a lot of stories. Most of them was for moving rocks. That's why they ended up going for like 10 years, stuff like that. Listening to your stories, and this is Texas State Prison. This is different from California. Your stories, you talked about you selling weed and how things progressed from there and then eventually got you to ended up going to jail.
Yeah, I always wanted a certain lifestyle. My parents were lower middle class. I literally I wanted to smoke for free. So I bought a quarter ounce. I was like 11 or 12. And I went on a trip with my family and my parents gave me $100. I just pocketed that $100 and didn't spend it. Came back and bought a quarter ounce. Bought it for like $90 or so. Flipped it for like 140. And then from there, I was off to the races. I had never not had money since that day. So since that young, I hustled my way up until I went to prison. But I mean, I started off on quarter ounces and it was pounds and it was 10 packs, 20 packs. And then the dude some dudes from British Columbia who used to get these big ass fucking 250, 500-pound shipments. They are in contact with one of my boys and he's like, hey, just go to your guys who you're getting these 10s and 20 packs off of and tell them we got them. Like whatever they want on the cuff, which is on the front, boom, it's yours. And they would give me 100 pounds, 200 pounds at a time. And then at this point, they're going for like 2,700 a pound. And I'm giving to these dudes for, 3,000 to 3,300 a pound. So I'm making like, $300 to $600 a pound on 100 or 200 a week. And I mean, we would front them too. So these dudes would take anything we had. And then I would go through the pounds and they would all be like 7 grams over or something like that. So then I would get the extra off the top. I was making like 80 grand a week back when I was fucking 18.
That's crazy.
And so I learned how to fuck up money at a young age. Yeah. And that's what people haven't learned yet. A lot of you motherfuckers are waiting for your big break and you don't realize you're going to have to fuck that up first. So, I mean, most people can't just make money and be mature with it. 99% of people cannot win the lotto and be successful. They'll fuck their life up. They're not mature enough to even have that much success. So I learned the hard way, fucked up large amounts of money, went to prison, came out, got another chance, which is this one.
Yeah.
And I didn't even buy a car till I had 400,000 saved. I was making 200 grand a month, 150,000 a month, and didn't even tell anyone I was making any money. Like until I had I had a cool million saved before I made any moves.
That was crazy. So you mentioned that after we're going to skip around here, but you did mention after you get out of jail, you post that first video that gets a couple 100,000 views. Then you post a second video that gets in the millions. And at that point, did you realize, hey, I need to stick with this YouTube thing? It goes viral, and that's where your coaching program started?
Well, I knew I was different. I had built a different type of man for 10 years incarcerated. So I was just fucking grinding. And I was honest about it. I had to look a certain way. I had to be a lot of people are just dishonest. They're not willing to put the work in to create who they would fucking listen to. I'm like, nah, I have to be this. So I have to be at least 220, 20-inch arms, crushing 20 pull-ups a set, fully covered in prison ink. I had to create the man I would fucking listen to. And everyone needs to realize that life's a mirror, not a window. Create who the fuck you look at. Acquire what the fuck you admire. Everyone's kind of being shifted and geared towards what they think's right by society instead of attracting their fucking people. Like I post my cars all the time just to trigger these fucking lames who are like, what about that's a depreciating asset, Wes? And they get all fucking pissed about it. I'm like, this is what I like, bitch. A car guy is pretty fucking common, stupid. And you get these motherfuckers who just get lost in the sauce of shit they've never fucking done. But long story short, went on Big Herc's channel, Fresh Out.
Yeah.
We got like 1 million views per episode. And these were all prison guys who went on there for a year. And nobody blew up like I did on there. Because they didn't fucking do prison like I did. Every fucking thing I do, I have to be the best at. So in prison, it was the same fucking thing. I'm like, I'm going to be the best at this prison shit. I'm fully covered in fucking ink that's earned. This ain't like one of these dudes who has a prison story who comes out pasty with no fucking tats. And then he gets a fucking colorful fucking armband. My shit is fucking, I'm it, dog, in the system, out on the street, whatever the fuck people want to fucking say. But I realized over time that it was just empty. These weren't the men I looked up to.
Yeah.
So even though I had to live that life, I had to put in the work, I had to do the 10 years, they weren't the fucking men I looked up to or the men I admired. So I had to create that man too. And that man had a story, the story that I went through. So, I mean, it was just perfect. It was a perfect storm to create the person that I always fucking admired, bro. And so I knew if I came out and kept doing the work, kept creating exactly what I always looked up to, that I could get my type of people to follow me because I genuinely wanted to fucking help them.
Did you notice that at first? I mean, I imagine your videos initially were like reaching out to a lot of people. And for those of you who haven't seen, hit pause right now and go check out some of his videos. I went through probably 40 or 50 of them, man. And they're so addictive and motivating because on the one end, like the early videos are very captivating because you are going through, a lot of people do, you know, you went through a thing that we all, not all of us, but a lot of people think about, what would I do if I ended up having to go to prison? You go and describe it step by step. This is a nightmare scenario for a lot of people.
Yeah. Like I didn't see a family member for 10 years.
Yeah.
You fucking pussies out here, soft ass motherfuckers don't have your way for 10 days and you pee on yourself and think you're depressed and need fucking medication. Like I literally spent over a year without stepping out of my cell.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, that's why I have these answers that come from a different world that solve the problems of this one. Most motherfuckers are just suffering from neurosis, pain avoidance. Like Carl Jung said way back when, that the side effect of pain avoidance is neurosis. And neurosis is anxiety, depression, mild mental illness, and obsessive compulsive disorders. And I mean, the way to fight this is to fucking, the only cure for suffering is more suffering.
Yeah.
And people don't want to understand that they're so mentally weak, their own mind is turning on them. And I was in prison with the worst set of circumstances, with a better mindset than 99% of people have out here, because I didn't have nowhere to turn.